Hi, welcome back to G2G Korea's #NoFilter Tok. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Sharon.
And we're here to talk about our first quarter
Semester
in college.
I'm currently attending Amherst College, which is in Massachusetts, and it's 2 hours from Boston. Expectations, I expected it to be suburban, and suburban as in Pasadena suburban, because I live in Los Angeles, Koreatown, and that's city for me, and suburban was like Pasadena, Buena Park. But Amherst was basically rural. Academically, I had a pretty easy semester because we have an open curriculum. We only have one requirement, which is our first year seminar. And after the first semester, we're done. We can choose our own classes. And the classes I chose were actually relatively pretty easy. So I was able to focus more on adapting to this new environment in the cold weather.
Yeah. I go to University of California, Irvine, 2 hours away from LA. Biggest challenge, I think going into college, I didn't have high expectations or low expectations. I kind of was like, oh, it's kind of close to home. Like it's going to be really similar to high school because, the general population of having a lot of, Asian people, it was the same.
Right.
Like the percentage-wise, especially from my high school. So I went in thinking like, it'll be like same old. But actually I was quite surprised, like taken aback by how different it was. Yeah, especially maybe socially, you really have to go out of your way and like make friends and like go out of your way and go to events and things like that to find and talk to people.
Right.
I realized that.
Yeah, so you mentioned making friends. Going to college, I made it my priority to find a Christian community, and I found one. We only have one, Amherst Christian Fellowship, and it's an amazing fellowship. I love it. One of the people there, they reached out to me first before I went to Amherst through email, and she told me like there's this fellowship at college, and there's also these churches that a lot of students at Amherst go to, and she was like giving me information about how she can help and how the fellowship can help with like our spiritual growth in college. So when I went to Amherst, I was really excited because I knew there was a community there waiting for me, and that's where I made a lot of my friends. And a lot of my friends actually are upperclassmen because a lot of the upperclassmen reached out first to the freshmen, and we had a lot of like one-on-one meals, and it was just like a really good way to make Christian friends at Amherst. Outside of the Christian circle, I'm actually having a hard time making friends who are not. My roommate is not Christian, but I think I'm actually on really good terms with her, and I spend most of my time with her, obviously because she's my roommate, but also outside of like our dorm. I also eat with her a lot, talk with her a lot, and in terms of that aspect, I think it's a way for me to reach out to her and try to grow with her in faith.
Yeah, because I have two roommates actually. One of them is like, we chose each other. She is Korean American Christian, like a pastor's kid kind of.
Oh, okay.
And then another is, she's not Christian, she's white, and it was for both of us, we were surprised because we thought we would be getting a triple with another person that we put. Anyways, it's really interesting because I do spend a lot of time with a friend, with my roommate that we put each other, but we try to be intentional or because our third roommate is our roommate as well, and we try to, in that way, as Christians, show who we are to her.
I actually had the opportunity to invite my roommate to my church. And I think she came either twice or 3 times, and all those 3 times she actually really liked it. And so the church that I go to actually has a podcast. I go to a church called Mercy House, and they have on SoundCloud and things like that. They have podcasts, and my roommate, the one time that she didn't go to church with me, she actually listened to the podcast 2 times. And I was like, wow, I would have never done that, but that's amazing.
I think church hopping as freshmen in college is like one of the most daunting things. If I didn't go church hopping or go to church with my roommate, I don't know how I would have done it. Like who did you go with? A lot of people from your fellowship? Christian fellowship?
Actually,
yeah. If I didn't have my roommate to go with me, I feel like it'd be very overwhelming. But going with somebody, with one person or 2 people that you know and you trust, and like you know that you can talk about after, it was such a big help for me.
Even though I did find a Christian community at Amherst is actually, there aren't a lot of professing Christians at Amherst. I think it was less than 5% in a town or in an area city where there's like a public college with 20,000 students, and that's just that college. There's 4 other colleges, including Amherst, in the area. So there's a lot of students, which I guess shows that a lot of college students tend to stray away, or they're just like not involved in the Christian community if they are Christians. So I had a hard time, and I called my dad a lot in the first couple weeks, and I cried a lot, and I was like, Dad, I hate it here. I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. There's no one I can talk to. There's no one I feel comfortable talking to, which was not true, honestly. There were a lot of upperclassmen who I could have gone to, but they're not adults, I want to say. Like, because it's such a big college community at Amherst, there's not that many adults I can talk to, and I've actually been surrounded by many like elders in the church, Korean elders in the church, or pastors as well, who I can reach out to if I need spiritual guidance. But Amherst did not have that for me, so I had to talk to my dad a lot, and talking to my dad helped a lot.
So UCI, I think there's more people at UCI, I believe more than Amherst probably. It's like a small city. So there's definitely going to be more Christians at UCI, but I still feel kind of weird, especially like in class when I'm not in like a Christian like fellowship kind of circle, saying like I'm a Christian and making friends, same as you, like that aren't Christian. It's weird because I'm putting it on myself where like they might not be okay with me being Christian, but like that's my identity and that's what comes first. Like making friends that weren't Christians is super important.
Right.
But it was hard for me for some reason, I think, going out of my way to try to be friends. Like maybe I was afraid I was like gonna compromise, my identity in Christ. And I made friends that weren't Christian, and it definitely didn't feel like that, but sometimes it did.
Right.
When in our conversations, or like, what did you do this weekend? I just like partied and I drank and I like got high, and I'm like, oh really? And they're like, oh, what did you do? I was like, I just hang out with my friends, like chilled in my room, did some homework. Yeah, it was like kind of weird. Like they're living a different college life than I am. Have you been to any parties? I kind of wanted to at one point. I was like, maybe I should go just so it's a different experience in college. Like,
right. Okay, so I've been to 3 parties. My first one was actually, I didn't know it was a party, and I just expected it to be something. It was like a club meeting. I expected it to be a club meeting where we introduce each other and go like, hi, this is me, this is them, these are the upperclassmen, get to know your upperclassmen. So I went with my roommate, and we were like, okay, if we don't like it, then we're leaving together, because it was sort of in a place off campus. So, and it was at night, so I should have known. I should have known. I had a feeling, but I went with my roommate, and I was like, okay, so if we don't like it, we're gonna come back. So I had someone I can like leave with in case I realized it wasn't the thing. And I went on time, and there was nobody there except the people setting up. So I actually got to talk to the upperclassmen there, which was nice, and they had music on that was decent, but they also had drinks as an alcoholic drink, which I I was surprised to see. I think it was my first time being that close to.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. I was never like in an environment where people would drink, but I went there and I stayed there about an hour, which is when the party actually started, and people were drinking and playing beer pong and smoking, and I was like, okay, to my roommate, let's leave. So I left. So I actually just like went there and saw things I didn't expect. And on my way back, I called my sister and I was like, why didn't you tell me this was what college was like? And I was kind of sad she didn't tell me. And she was like, what did you expect? And I was like, not this. Yeah. My other two parties, one of them was similar, but it was more club-like, and I was just standing around watching and with the loud music, and I just left after. But the other one, it was an orchestra party, which I actually enjoyed it because they had like a separate place where the people who drank would just like party, and we were a couple of us were in the kitchen, and we played a board game. It was like similar to Werewolf, and that was my idea of fun. Like when when people said let's party, or like hang out, for me it was like board games or like chatting, playing card games. Because in high school, oh my gosh, my friends and I would always play card games, and like I miss playing card games. Yeah, so that was the party that I enjoyed. Yeah.
I feel like I'm not missing out on too much, actually, now that you say that all. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you find the right group of friends, a lot of the people at the parties, they actually go in groups. A lot of the freshmen go in groups, and they all either drink together. They watch out for each other, look out for each other, but they also drink. So I've been having a hard time finding like a circle of friends who don't do that. So I've actually been sort of more focusing on one-on-one relationships, and but I have yet to find friends to play cards with.
I think in college, everybody's trying to make their friends, and everybody's trying to form like a group of friends that they're gonna hang out with for like their forever. And like I feel like I don't do very well in that, like everybody's trying to get to know everybody, and like one-on-one is a lot more comfortable. Or like small groups with like 4 people. And like I had a hard time, or I'm still having a hard time trying to figure out like who am I going to hang out with for the rest of my college career. Even though it's so early on, everybody's scrambling and it's kind of daunting. Like a lot of things are scary, and these are one of them. Like trying to make friends.
And when you mentioned daunting, for me, what was scary was I've been having to not really question, but sort of, I'll say question my beliefs, or my principles and beliefs, I guess, because even though there are a lot of Christians, we all come from different backgrounds, and we grew up in different environments, and Amherst is actually, it's very liberal, like not just, they're like progressive, liberal. So I've been having a hard time feeling comfortable opening up to other Christians, like about my own beliefs and what I'm struggling with, because I have to be very careful, like otherwise I'm like, oh, I can't talk to you anymore, or I can't confide in you anymore because what you believe is different from what I believe, which kind of
in the Christian community, I completely agree.
You've had that experience as well.
Yeah, and it's really nice because my roommates and we've talked, and we are kind of on a similar page. We're pretty much on the same page. So I always feel like there's somebody, but I'm really scared to like talk to somebody else in like the Christian like club I'm in, just in case, because there's such a wide range of people who, believe in Jesus that it could create a lot of tension.
So the population of students at Amherst is less than 2,000, and we have one dining hall, and in the dining hall is where everything happens, like all the conversations take place, and that's where I've been having a lot of my one-on-one meals with people. But if I talk with someone and we get on like a topic that's in a way controversial, then like there are people around like who can hear, but also if I like separate with that person and then like bump into them later, like you end up bumping into the people you know at Amherst. You have no way to like hide from other students at Amherst because it's such a small school and not a lot of places for students to go to other than like you have to eat, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's really interesting. Like UCI is like big enough where if you wanted to see each other, you can kind of run into each other, but big enough where if you like know, like you can completely never see. Like there are some kids I went to high school with that I've never seen like to this day, and I think it makes it even easier for me. Like one of my challenges was like for me to just like go into myself and not go out and just spend a lot of time by myself. And hinder myself from growing in different relationships. Yeah, like I heard there's a lot of good stuff, good conversations that go down in dining halls, but I have yet to, experience that.
You should try it out. It's like the way I made a lot of my like, close friends and had a lot of conversations.
So that was our talk with Sharon from Amherst and Stephanie from University of California, Irvine. We will be back probably with more talks to talk about in our college life. Please like, comment what you want to see next, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.